Music for the Hydroörganon is a concert based on a work of fiction by one of our collaborators, Andre Forget, called The Lower Registers. The story's about this wildly eccentric organ builder named Kenji Saito, who's building organs that actually sound underneath the ocean.
Which is completely absurd because you can't hear this organ, there's water getting in the pipes, but some people claim to have these transcendent experiences like Saito. Other people just hear this low drone.
So we thought, let's compose some music to reflect that, and let's get some writers to write about the hypothetical experience of actually attending one of these underwater organ concerts. So we talked to several poets and asked them to create poems based on this idea, and we used that as inspiration for the music that we composed for the organ.
But as we were working on this, we realized quite early on that a regular land organ wouldn't be able to produce the desired effect that the poets were talking about. So we brought in electronics, and electronics allows you to manipulate the sound of the organ, bring in the sound of waves and whales and seagulls and boats and foghorns, so that you could combine the regular land organ sound world with the world or the sound world of the ocean. I would be up at the organ and I would play a little improvisation to sort of jumpstart the composition, and Adrian would request a little bit different sounds, and then he'd play it back and manipulate it on his computer, and we would just continue this process until we had more or less a sound that we were happy with, and then would continue with that sound until the composition was finished and move to the next one. With some of the poems, it's quite easy to come up with musical realizations of the textual imagery. For example, Jenny Burkle's Sea Song mentions the hymn Holy, Holy, Holy. So we thought, let's take this hymn, and we took a little fragment of it and stretched this harmonic out, so we have basically one sustaining harmony, and then over top of that we superimposed other slightly different harmonies and filters and ambient effects, so that you get the result is this really ethereal, underwatery sound.
Yeah, and with some of the other poems, for example, Monologues for a Hydroörganon by Noor Naga, there are maybe less obvious direct connections between what to do with the music and the way the text is written. And in that case, we decided to go more for a reflection of the actual sounds in the text, so the consonants and vowels. And for example, there's this one line in the poem that has the letter S is basically in almost every word, and that sound of S just keeps on repeating. So we then paralleled the sound world of these S's in the poem with our own sound world, and we continued the same kind of process with other poems.
And with our other piece, The Undercurrent, the idea was that as a concert goer is in the water listening to the music through the snorkel or however they are doing it, the undercurrent is pushing them along and pulling them away from earshot of the organ. So the idea here is you have a little bit more fragmented, and then within these fragmented things, when you get pulled away, you hear the sound of a whale or just mostly bubbles, and then you get pulled back into the concert and you hear these more organ sounds again.